Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michael Knipp and I am here to do a tag video. I was tagged by the one, the only Deanie to do her original book tag, the Skyrim book tag. You should go check out her video. I'm going to link that down below. It is an awesome one. She put a lot of work into it and it is a lot of fun with a lot of good questions. I think I am the only person that she tagged in that video who has not responded yet, and I have also been tagged in this tag numerous other times by other people as well, so it's about time. I'm sorry, everybody, and Deanie especially. I'm a big fan of the game Skyrim. I remember when it came out, I never played an Elder Scrolls game before that, but there was a lot of hype, and I was excited to give it a shot. I had pre-ordered the game, and I actually stayed up, and I wanted to play it as much as possible on the night that it was released, so I actually pre-downloaded it, and then set an alarm for the midnight release, went to bed, took a 2-hour nap or so. A bunch of my friends also got it, and we were talking about it constantly. It was a blast. I put in so many hours. One of my favorite things about Skyrim was that it was like such a hardcore and like in-depth game that I also know a lot of people who don't normally play video games that got into it as well. It was so immersive and so deep, yet also attracted people from all different corners who were able to play this game and experience it and enjoy it together. It's also available on pretty much anything that has a screen at this point, so you should be able to play Skyrim somewhere if you're interested. The Dragonborn can absorb souls, breathe fire, soothe wild beasts, and so much more. What character do you think would be capable of anything? I'm going to take this opportunity to talk about one of my favorite books from last year again. There was a trilogy called the Long Winter Trilogy, which is just absolutely amazing about what happens when Earth unexpectedly and rapidly declines into another ice age, and they're not sure what causes it. But in that series, there is a scientist whose name is James Sinclair, and he is a freaking master genius who saves them in so many ways. He's so smart, and he uses that science to essentially accomplish any task. Like, he has other people that support him. It's not just him, but his brain would allow him to solve any situation. Prompt number 2, Lydia is sworn to carry your burdens. Who is the most annoying side character? All right, Paige from Paiging Through gave the same answer to Deanie, but Lydia is not that annoying. She's so useful. A lot of people complain about her dying a lot in the game Skyrim, but I never had that problem. In fact, I had seen her launched sky high by getting spiked into the ground by an ice troll or a giant or whatever, and she came back down, she was fine, she was still carrying all my stuff. Lydia is alright in my book. I'm gonna give a weird backdoor answer to this one. As someone who enjoys audiobooks from time to time, anytime there is a side character with a weird vocal tick of any sort, it is almost impossibly irritating for me to listen to the audiobook reader constantly doing the vocal inflections of that side character. One of the examples I'll give here is the guy who reads the Dark Elf trilogy, like the origin story for Drizzt in the R.A. Salvatore books. There's a character in those books, his name is Clacker. I don't want to spoil anything about it, but whenever the author is doing that character's voice, it is so hard to listen to. It's just like, stop it, just read what he's saying and go on. Another example for this that listen, this is meant to be taken in the right context. But Kate Redding, who does an amazing job with her audiobook narrations, I love every single one that I've heard. But when she reads Pattern in the Stormlight Archive series, Pattern's constant like, oh my goodness. Did someone steal your sweet roll? What is delectable food from a book you'd like to eat? Okay, so I think I've answered this question or a question like this before in other prompts, but I'm gonna get more specific here. So the book series REDWALL by Brian Jakes was a super, super awesome series for me to get into when I was a kid. And that is one of those series that has awesome food descriptions, but they're all real options. Like, they could be made in real life, but I had never had most of them before. So when you're talking about like scones with honey or scones with lemon curd or like raspberry cordial, I'd never had those things as a kid. And when I finally did, I was like, these are real foods and they're so good. Cordials especially, man, it's just so sweet and fruity. Now I want to go back and read that series, and I'm hungry right now. Can you tell? Took an arrow to the knee. What character do you think would be most likely to get randomly injured? All right, you know what? I'm just going to take a dig at some characters that I think are freaking stupid as heck. This question may be targeted towards like more of a clumsy character, but have you ever heard of the series Children of Blood and Bone or Children of Virtue and Vengeance? Hey, that book, Children of Virtue and Vengeance, every single character is an absolute moron. If you were to ask them to add 1 and 1, they would come up with an answer that was not only not a number, but an answer that would probably also result in a lot of people dying needlessly. Every character in Children of Virtue and Vengeance is my answer. Aedra versus Daedra. What is the most interesting force of good or evil or otherworldly source of power that you found in a book? So yeah, fine, I'll use my default answer, the Stormlight Archive. I absolutely love the power structure there. I like the whole religious system they've developed and all of that. It's all spoilers, so I can't get into details, but the Stormlight Archive is my answer. Tamriel is full of double-crossers. Who is your favorite deceitful or suspicious character? All right, so the question, the letter of the law said deceitful or suspicious characters. It didn't say they had to be like, you know, villains or bad people. So I'm gonna go with freaking Locke from The Lies of Locke Lamora. Deceit is like his middle name. It's what he does. He's a con man and he's amazing at it. And that first book is so good. Why have I not read the second one? I don't know. But yeah, he's deceitful as all get out. And that's one of the huge draws of the series, is how he robs people. The Lusty Argonian Maid is the hottest book ever written. What is your favorite romance in a book? So I think I've said this before, I don't generally read romances. I've been trying to read a little bit more YA lately, which is having more romances in it than I normally get. But I think I'm going to go back to an answer that I've used on a similar question before. My favorite romance that I can think about recently was actually in the book Pandemic by A.G. Riddle. I know that's very appropriate for the times. This also happens to be my second A.G. Riddle shout out here. I love the books that I've read by A.G. Riddle. But in Pandemic, the first book of the Extinction Files, there's a romance that I think is really cute and fun. It sticks in my brain for some reason. I really like it. Stealth Archer is the most obvious and most practical character build. What type of character do you think is the most useful, and give an example? So there's been some debate amongst my book friends on whether the Stealth Archer is actually the most practical build. And I could say that in general, I'm not going to try to blanket statement here, but in Skyrim, it's freaking dope. There's nothing cooler than like sneaking around, no one hearing you. You do that little like dodge roll thing, pop into a room, shoot everybody while they're sleeping. Or like you sneak up on a dragon and do a stealth headshot and do like, I don't know, freaking 8 times damage or something. I've played Skyrim all the way through. I've completed a significant number of the quests. I played the game for hours and I don't think I've ever used a melee build ever. And I also don't think I've ever made a wizard. I've only ever played Stealth Archer, so yeah, by default, I'll agree. But how does that translate to a book? So I think that translates strictly to, like, if you're reading fantasy, the ranger character is going to be the right answer. They know how to do things in nature. They know how to track things. They know basic healing and like wound restoration. They know how to fight with swords and they know how to fight with bows. Your ranger character is the most useful character in all situations. Is that a cheat answer because it's like a stealth archer? Kinda, yes, but it's true. If someone tries to argue that a wizard is more helpful, they're lying. Wizards just take power from one source and use it to another source. They're monsters and they're tyrants. If I existed in Dragon Age, I would be for the Chantry. That's not true, but wizards are glass cannons. There's more to this world than just humans. Elves, Khajiit, Argonians, and more. What is your favorite fantasy or sci-fi race? Frick! I just want to say the Stormlight Archive again because the Parshendi/listeners are so cool. I love the way that Sanderson describes their everything. I don't want to like talk about it and give spoilers too much, but it's so cool. What's a non-Stormlight answer? Let's see. The Kings of the Wild version of elves are like rabbits. They have rabbit ears. That's cool. Now, you know what? Screw this. I'm going old school. It's the freaking hobbits. Hobbits are so cool. They eat all day. They do nothing but sit and smoke their pipes and have parties, and they live in a beautiful country where nothing bad happens. It's the worst thing that they have to deal with is like family drama. Can we all not agree? That sounds just super, super rad right now. Frankly, it sounds super rad all the time. I don't know what I'm thinking. Hobbits for the win. Glitches. Dragons freaking out midair. Giants sending you sky high. What is a surprisingly funny or unexpected thing you found in a book? Okay, this is, it's a weird answer because I can't talk about it too much. But the ending of The Gunslinger was one of the most unexpected things that I've that I've ever read or seen. Evidently, people don't like The Gunslinger. There's a significant number of people that struggle with reading that book. But I kind of thought it was really cool all the way through, but especially because the ending just takes the most bizarre turn. It was my first Stephen King book, for one. So I never read any Stephen King books before. I didn't know his style or philosophy or his mindset when creating stories. So when you get to the ending of The Gunslinger and you've been following Roland, I think his name is Roland, you've been following him on his trek the entire book, and then the book ends the way that it does, it just like, it was bizarre in the most self-indulgent way I'd ever seen, maybe up to that point. And I loved it. If you don't mind spoilers for Gunslinger, I'll say it right here. Just real quickly, skip ahead maybe 10 seconds, you won't miss anything. Roland chases a wizard for the entirety of the book. He catches said wizard. They have a fireside chat where the guy describes the metaphysical smallness of humans compared to infinity in a bizarre and wonderfully high-minded talk. And then Roland goes to sleep and 40 years pass, and then the end of the book, and he's alone, and the guy's a skeleton. What the heck? I love it! I'm sure that the guys over at the CodeX Cantina probably have some like actual literary explanation for the symbolism of what happens there, but even if you take it at face value, it's a bold choice. A bold choice. Sometimes I respect any time an author is willing to just go that buck wild with a story, to just neglect normal conventions and do something so self-indulgent that you wonder how a publisher okayed it. Alright, this is such an awesome tag. I want to tag some other people in it. I apologize if you guys have been tagged before, but I do want to spread the love on this one. First off, I'm tagging my good friend Kayla from Cracking to a Good Book. You should go subscribe to her channel if you haven't already. She's a great member of the BookTube community, and she single-handedly recommends more books on her channel than anyone I've ever seen, maybe combined. And I watch a lot of BookTube. Kayla, consider yourself tagged. I do know you play video games. Don't know if you played Skyrim, but have fun. Leslie over at The Nerdy Narrative, I also know you're a gamer. We were just talking about World of Warcraft. Have fun with this tag. Guys, you should go check out her channel. She's full of energy. She's a lot of fun. She's another positive, super happy member of this community. She's super supportive of the channels that she loves. You guys should go check her out. Leslie, consider yourself tagged. And one of the newer channels that I have found is Mike over at Mike's Library. He recently posted a review of a book called Ohio, and it sounded incredible. It's also just a really good, emotionally resonant review, which are like my favorite types. I know, Mike, that you are a fan of fantasy. I don't know if you're a gamer, but either way, this is a fun tag and you should do it. So I consider yourself tagged. As always, thank you guys for watching the video. Remember to like if you haven't already, and please subscribe to the channel if you want to see more from me. I have a lot of fun being here on BookTube. Talking to you guys is a blast. Leave some of your favorite video game related, they don't have to be Skyrim only, but especially if you've got Skyrim memories, leave some of your funniest stories down below. I hope you guys are all staying safe and sane, especially during this time right now. I love you all. Goodbye.
No one ever get enough. Always looking out tired. Sleep. No one ever get enough. If I don't show up, I might get fired. Sleep. No one ever get enough. Always looking out tired. Sleep. No one ever get enough. If I don't show up, I might get fired.